We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Charlie, what you've done is incredible here.
Maybe Charlie Kirk is on the college campus.
I want you to know we are lucky to have Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk's running the White House, folks.
I want to thank Charlie. He's an incredible guy. His spirit, his love of this country. He's done an amazing job building one of the most powerful youth organizations ever created, Turning Point USA.
We will not embrace the ideas that have destroyed countries, destroyed lives, and we are going to fight for freedom on campuses across the country. That's why we are here.
Happy Charlie Kirk Day, everybody. It is a National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk, and we're going to be honoring him on the Chris Hand Show all day long. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. I'm happy that you're here. I'm grateful to be a part of this radio station. Wouldn't be here, in all honesty, if it wasn't for the opportunities that Charlie Kirk gave me. I just think that that's something that we need to kick off the show with. Charlie Kirk was assassinated over a month ago now, and it is still just unbelievable. Hard to wrap my head around. I had the unbelievable honor, the humbling experience of being at his memorial service. I had the unbelievable honor of working for Turning Point USA through the 2024 election. Honor of a lifetime. And as you know, his assassination has obviously it rocked me when it happened, and we're still rocked from it. And I think that a lot of people feel this way. Today is a big day for Charlie. He's going to get the National Medal of Freedom today at the White House, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. I'm going to be watching that live, as I'm sure you will. I know Murphy is going to be covering that probably extensively, and I know that it's going to be live on all the Turning Point YouTube platforms as well. So that way, when you're done with Murphy's show, if you miss it, you can always go back and watch it. It's going to be something special. And how about our president? What he's been able to do in the last 24 hours, the last 36 hours, to then fly back home to honor Charlie with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's truly remarkable. It's something that I have a hard time wrapping my head around. Just think about this. The president flew to Israel, spoke to the press, met with Israeli leaders, got a standing ovation in the Knesset, in a room full of Jews, standing ovation. Speaks to the press, meets with the families of hostages, delivers an hour-long speech at the Knesset, does an interview, flies to Egypt, met with the Egyptian president, spoke to the press, took photos, had a meet-and-greet line with dozens of world leaders, signed the historic Gaza peace deal, delivered another speech, got a standing ovation in a room full of Muslims. met privately with world leaders, then flew back to the United States so that way he could be here today in D.C. to honor Charlie Kirk. The work ethic of this man is unbelievable, and you understand why Charlie fought so hard to get him elected. And I truly do believe that Charlie Kirk is one of the major reasons why Donald J. Trump is our 47th president. I think you'd have a hard time arguing against that. But golly, one of my thoughts yesterday as we were watching everything go down, I wonder what Charlie would say about this. I think that it is an unbelievable couple of days that we've witnessed in the United States. It's an unbelievable couple of days that we've witnessed in the world, in Israel, in the Arab countries. The news is just unbelievable. The Time magazine put out a new cover for November. Can we get, if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see this. This is one of the reasons why you should watch us on YouTube. We're live all over the internet. We're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Twitch, so that way you can watch the live stream. But Time magazine has released their new cover for November, and it's a picture of Donald J. Trump, and it says, "His triumph, the leader Israel needed, how Gaza heals." What a timeline. What a timeline to be on right now. It's truly remarkable. I think all of this is only done through the grace of God. I think God has been in the details since the head turn on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, and we've seen God in the details every single step of the way. Even in Charlie's assassination, we saw God in the details. You won't waste your pain, and the revival that we've seen in the country has just been unbelievable. But still people doubt President Trump. Still. There was a reporter on the flight back last night from from Egypt, from the Middle East. And this reporter suggested that the president should slow down in declaring peace. So this is aboard Air Force One, thousands of feet above the sky, above the ground. And President Trump hears this reporter suggest that he should slow down declaring peace in the Middle East. And Trump just lets him have it. This is what it sounded like on Air Force One.
I might say it feels premature declaring peace for the whole Middle East. 3,000 years of peace and so on.
You want more people to be killed? What do you want, another 300,000-400,000 people to be killed? Is that what you're looking for?
But in terms of the risks in Gaza, we're already seeing...
The risk. So you mean let them fight on for another couple of years and let some more buildings fall down on top of people and keep it going? No, we did it the right way. We did it. I think our timing was perfect, actually.
I love that he pushes back. What do you mean? We're early. We're premature in declaring peace. Do you want this to continue? Do you want more lives to be lost? Would you prefer that we pump the brakes so that way more buildings can be demolished, more people can be killed? Is that what you want? What an idiot. What a dumb question. This is what I love about Trump. Nobody said that this was going to be easy. In fact, many people said that this would be impossible. And Donald Trump did it anyway. There's a line from JFK. I love it, and I use it with my kids. He says, we don't choose to do things because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. Thank you. That's who we have in the White House now. The guy who's choosing to do things because they're hard. The guy who says, yeah, it might not happen, but what's the harm in trying? It's a wild time. Last night we had a little league game with my boys, and Brooks was playing, and I mean they got down big. They were losing 14-0, and I said, okay, so we're already losing. This is me. I'm coaching them up. We're already losing. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? What, that we lose? We're already losing. What's the best thing that could happen? We have a comeback and we win the game. Like, so what's the harm in trying? And I think that same energy is what we see with Donald Trump on the world stage on a much bigger platform. Make no mistake about it. What's the harm in trying to get this done? Oh, sir, don't you think you should pump the brakes on peace talks? No. What are you talking about? Let's aim for the moon. Let's go for it. Let's take things that are impossible that others say can't be done. And what's the harm in trying? I give a lot of credit to President Trump. It is unbelievable what we've seen. I don't think that we could see it with any other world leader. Every president moving forward is going to be measured against what we've seen in the first 9 months. And the crazy part is we got 3+ years left. 3+ years left? Ay caramba. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. CNN last night. This was one of my favorite things to do. I was like, let's see how the left is dealing with this. Let's watch the left. Because I was wondering if they were going to try and find a way to spin this that's anti-Trump. I was wondering if there's any possible way that they could spin this. I couldn't see it in my own mind, but hey, never underestimate the left telling you how bad the orange dictator is, right? But CNN last night, they had a panel, all Dems, and they were, I think the word is bewildered. They were bewildered that Trump is able to speak to Americans the way he is, the way he goes about his business, the way he attacks these large problems. They had no idea how he's able to do this. And I just think that he's got an unbelievable faith and an unbelievable will to try. What's the harm in trying?
Another comment that the president made on his way to Israel aboard Air Force One. He was asked if the ceasefire deal will help him get into heaven, which is, I got to say, I've been in the press pool. It is a unique question to ask a president of the United States. However, his response was also unique. Take a listen.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Yeah, I do. I do actually respect that a lot. I don't think there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm definitely getting into heaven. It's like, are you? I don't know. You're not going to get in through works. You're only going to get in through the grace and the blood of Jesus Christ. But CNN was reacting to this, and they go on to say, like, this makes him so human, because I think we all have those doubts. I don't know if I'm going to get into heaven. I sure hope so. But I'm more focused on trying to make sure that my kids get into heaven as opposed to me. But this is how CNN reacts to those comments.
Look, as somebody else who may have a hard time with this same topic, I would just say that it's really interesting when you hear him say this, because it makes him a regular guy.
It definitely
Democrat,
does.
it really makes me upset, because folks flip it, making, what do you say, lie to yourself. I do that a lot. Other folks, he's just been a regular person going, look, I've made a lot of mistakes. Y'all have all covered me and pulled out everything I've ever done in my life, so maybe I'm not going to have a straight shot all the way to heaven. It makes him really, really like a regular folks, and as a Democrat, it makes me hate it.
I think Chuck is 100% correct. I mean, like my grandfather used to say, when people say, I'm a Christian, he said, wow, you've already accomplished it. It's a lifelong journey. We're all imperfect. The president recognized that. And to Chuck's point, for regular people, they say, hell, I don't know if I'm going to get to heaven, but I'm certainly trying every single day. It's relatable. It's why people like him.
This is how CNN is covering the president yesterday. It's kind of weird. It makes me feel weird. A friend of mine, Josh, sent me that. And he said, well, that's it. That's it. Hell froze over. I know. It's crazy. It wasn't just CNN. You had a lot of people praising the president. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, all the places where you would think that you'd find yourself in the spin zone were praising the president and what he was able to accomplish yesterday. Sure, there were some naysayers. Make no mistake about it. Jasmine Crockett was talking crap. Did you see what Jasmine Crockett said? Let me let's put it on the screen on the YouTube stream in case you're watching. Jasmine Crockett said, "Raising hell at home and then pretending to be the president of peace is diabolical." Okay, all right. What kind of hell has been raised at home? Jasmine. What a joke. Barack Hussein Obama put out a long Twitter post. He refused to give the president any credit. Refused. Scott Jennings took particular offense to that. This was last night, also on CNN.
He's been the most hyper-political and hyper-partisan post-president we've ever had. He's still acting that way. They're not over the fact that Donald Trump won the national popular vote last year. And they keep warning about the same things that they were warning and fussing about during the campaign, to to which the American people then responded to. I think Donald Trump is executing every part of his agenda in almost exactly the way that he promised he was going to, up to and including enforcing laws in the United States that have been on the books for a very, very long time that his predecessor chose simply not to execute.
That's the diabolical hell being raised at home, according to Jasmine Crockett, enforcing laws that are already on the books.
You throw that on top of the fact that he's having this extraordinary success on the world stage, and I just think Democrats from Obama on down are having a heck of a time understanding where they went wrong and how Donald Trump has captivated a nation and now the entire world.
Scott Jennings is absolutely right. And the Democrats, I think it would behoove them to give credit where credit is due. I think that would be the right move. But I'm not here to give them advice. Don't interrupt your enemies while they're making a mistake. We got a lot more to cover today on the show. It is a National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. We will be honoring Charlie today. We're not having our event tonight. Long story. It's not happening. We're all bummed. And it was a decision made outside of this building. I don't feel the need to rehash it, but I'm disappointed to say the least. But there is something that you can do tonight if you want to honor Charlie's memory. We're going to have our friend Joanna Daniels in here from the Sumner County Library Board to tell us what that is, where you can be, and how you can enter in. There's so many people, especially since Charlie passed away, that said, what can I do? How can I get involved? How can I join the fight? Not in a physical, violent way, but in a proactive, getting involved, spiritual kind of way. Joanna Daniels has a way that you can do that tonight in Sumner County. We're going to talk to her after the 9:30 news, and then when we get back, I got a few more clips I want to play, and then also later on in the show, my friend Joe Bob, who hosts Turning Point Tonight, the official Turning Point USA show on Real America's Voice, is going to be joining us around 11:05. We're going to talk Charlie. We're going to talk about what we've seen in the aftermath of the assassination and more. Really looking forward to that conversation. Joe Bob's a great guy. He hosts an awesome show, in case you haven't seen it. Turning Point Tonight is on Real America's Voice every single night, 9 o'clock Central here in the best time zone. So we'll talk to him as well. A lot to get to. Only a little bit of time. Thank you for hanging out with us. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends over at Cabinet Makeovers. I tell you all the time about my buddy Dan, who runs Cabinet Makeovers. Maybe you got to meet him at the Williamson County Home Show over the weekend. I had a couple super texters say, I met Dan. He was awesome. I was like, I told you so. And maybe you got to see examples of his work. I get to see examples of his work every single day when I walk into my kitchen. It's transformed my kitchen. If you want to invest in your home, have you thought about pull-out cabinets? If you haven't, you need to, because I hadn't thought about them. And now that we have them, I don't think I could go back. This is a family-owned company that's going to do the work. They've been serving Middle Tennessee for over 45 years. Everything they do is Tennessee-made. Every cabinet, every pull-out, every drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides. The craftsmanship is at the highest of levels, and their team has decades of experience. I feel it every time I walk into my kitchen. What makes them really special, though, is how they let biblical values guide their business. When Dan came to my house, it was really cool. It turned into like a homeschool lesson. The kids were allowed to turn the screwdrivers, and then Dan even talked to the kids about Jesus. We love it. We love what they did. They don't just stop at kitchens. They do custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house. If you want to make that investment in your home, do it with Cabinet Makeovers. 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010, or find examples of their work online, cabinetmakeoverstn.com.
Why munitions company AES was cited by safety officials, and why we shouldn't expect any movement on the government shutdown today. Those stories and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. We're going to be joined by Joanna Daniels after the news at 9:30. She's the chairman of the Sumner County Library Board. There's a really cool way that you can honor Charlie today. We're going to talk about that. But real quick, I found this clip from Scott Adams. Do you know Scott Adams? He is the creator of Dilbert. He runs a podcast now. And he nailed it when it comes to the left and how they deal with Trump and how they call him Hitler. And then we see him bringing about world peace yesterday. This was Scott Adams yesterday.
So meanwhile, while the so-called Hitler is finding peace for Israel, the Democrats are still whining about him being an authoritarian Hitler. And while we're all watching the authoritarian Hitler bring peace to the entire world, the Democrats could not be losing harder than they are today. Today is peak losing for Democrats. They just got to shut up at this point. Just let it go, right? Just let it go. There's nothing you should say right now except thank you, Mr. President.
Amen. It is. It's peak losing for the Democrats, but we still have to keep fighting, right? We shouldn't take these victories and just go, we're done. That's not. No, now's the time to put our foot on the gas. We have a way for you to put your foot on the gas locally in Sumner County tonight. We're going to talk to Joanna Daniels about it when we get back. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The names of the 16 people who died last week in the deadly explosion at the site of an Accurate Energetic Systems facility have now been released. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis.
As we stand up there, we start looking out across everyone that's in the room. My neighbor, her husband is in one of these victims. One of my best friends.
Meantime, Channel 4's Amanda Hara on the company's safety record.
The most recent safety issue at this facility dates back to 2019, when AES faced several small fines from the Department of Labor for allegedly failing to protect workers from exposures to hazardous chemicals.
Channel 4 also reporting that last month, the Department of War awarded AES a $120 million contract for the procurement of TNT, which is primarily used in grenades, bombs, and in shells. It's day 13 of the government shutdown and another vote in the Senate tonight on that clean spending bill.
Even top Republicans like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson warning that the government could be in for one of the longest shutdowns in its history. The record is 35 days set during the first Trump administration. And now more than 750,000 furloughed federal workers plus essential staff like TSA agents and air traffic controllers already feeling the pain, receiving their last paycheck until the government reopens.
ABC's Jay O'Brien there. Brian Callahan out as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Mike Florio from NBC Sports.
The football gods gave them a gift last week against the Cardinals, and they didn't turn one win into two. They just took that as, hey, we got our win. We're not going to go winless, and they're back to what they were.
Callahan's dad also departed yesterday. Senior offensive assistant Mike McCoy's taking over as interim coach. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here, and I got to tell you about my friends over at Better Water LLC. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. I actually took a tour of the Better Water facilities, and I hear the horror stories, and they have horror stories for every situation. You might be like, well, I got a well. I don't have to worry. It's like, oh, you sure about that? You might be like, oh, I'm on city water. I got a new construction home. Everything is good. Pump the brakes. Here's the best part, though. Better Water will test your water for free. And if you have any of the nasty stuff that could be in your water, sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli, well, they offer a range of options to clean it up. reverse osmosis, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered. You can think of it like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, or they can scale it to down under your sink, or even for your business. They're already doing this at the local coffee shops and the hospitals around town. They're based in Smyrna, local company, and they want to take care of you. So it's time to stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give Better Water a call today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or find them online, betterwater.com. It's 9:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. It is the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. We're going to be honoring him on the show. We appreciate what he did. He put his life on the line, ultimately losing it by just speaking the truth. And now it's on all of us to speak the truth, which leads me to my next guest, Joanna Daniels. She is the chairman of the Sumner County Library Board. Chairman. We're not doing woke stuff. Joanna joins us. What's up, Joanna?
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks again for having me.
Yes. So one of the questions that I always get is, especially in the aftermath of the Charlie assassination, is like, what can I do? There's so many people who feel motivated and pulled to do something, and they don't really know where to start. And when me and you have been talking, I hear that you have another meeting coming up tonight to remove transgender books from the libraries in Sumner County. And I felt like it's the perfect day to do this, which you didn't even plan. It's such a God thing. And this is a great way for you to get involved. This is something that Charlie would absolutely be behind, removing these books, removing this ideology and indoctrination from our kids, and removing their access to it at the public library. But it seems like you are running into a lot of resistance.
Definitely, and and I love that you are doing this today and really focusing on Charlie Kirk because it's Charlie Kirk Day, and it is so true. When I rescheduled this, I wasn't even thinking of it Charlie Kirk Day, so it was a total God thing. And this in the library, a lot of people say it's the cornerstone of community, right? And if it is the cornerstone of the community, it actually would change a culture or create a culture, correct? And Charlie Kirk was very much about us as a culture getting back to the roots, which is the foundation of our country, which is Judeo-Christian values, right? Well, if you go into any public library, even in the state of Tennessee, you're going to find a whole lot of other things other than books that promote Judeo-Christian values. And I would dare to say that a lot of it actually would go against those values. And especially with the transgender, the sexually explicit, the LGBTQ books as well.
The Rainbow Mafia.
Exactly. And so in order to really to honor Charlie Kirk, I would say this could be a place where anybody can go in and start going to library board meetings and influencing this. But we have had massive pushback. Board members not showing up.
Yeah, and these are conservatives, quote unquote Republicans, and quote unquote conservatives, who instead of taking a stand, they're just running away or not showing up at all.
Correct. Or they're abstaining from the vote, or they're saying they can't be there. And, such as today, we have a meeting. I had to reschedule it from last week because I couldn't have a quorum. So I rescheduled it today. Well, Paul McCoy, which is a library board member that has in the past voted against this policy, has already said that he can't be available until November. Okay. And then Tracy, who's another person that said that she's against this policy. She has said that she can't, she has school stuff that she can't do this week and just all of a sudden can't do anything for the rest of the week. And, I haven't heard from other people that normally cancel yet, so we'll see. So far right now, it looks like I'm going to have a quorum.
But the only thing that these people respond to is public pressure.
Absolutely. The only way that you're going to get this to change is honestly public pressure, not only on the board members, but also the county commission, because the county commissioners are the people that appoint these people. And the county commission actually have the ability to remove these people. There was a new law that was just put into place that anybody who appoints a board member now has the authority to remove without cause anybody from a board that they have appointed.
So tonight is your meeting, and we want people to show up in big numbers, and I think it would be a great way to honor Charlie Kirk. Where is the meeting? What time is the meeting?
So the meeting is tonight at 3:30 p.m. at the Hendersonville Public Library on Saundersville Road. And, what saddens me is that most people in Sumner County say that they're conservatives. Actually, people that came to the board meeting last week that spoke against this policy said that they were conservatives and they were Christians. I had a lady said, look, I have my cross. I'm a Methodist and I have my rainbow too. And I was just...
those things don't add up.
Yeah. And so, one thing that Charlie Kirk was very much about is he said government and Christianity go together.
Yep.
He said, the book of Deuteronomy is a whole book on how to create government. So this whole thing of like religion and politics don't go together, actually, Charlie Kirk said that is incorrect. They absolutely go together. And unfortunately, for too long, for almost 100 years now, the church has been saying, oh, no, we don't get involved in politics. Well, no. The whole reason that this country was created was because religion was actually what created our politics.
Right.
And so if you really want to make an impact, because you think about it, it is the library where children go to read. And you can't, I don't care if you're a helicopter parent or not, you can't see every book that your child is reading. And with their friends, you want to give them independence, right?
Well, it's not just about your kids. It's about the kids that they're interacting with on the playground. It's about the kids that they're seeing at school. It's about all the kids.
Yes. I've had 2 people come up to me and said, my daughter went into the transgender lifestyle because of books that she found at the library.
That's insane.
I have a friend of mine right now that has been having to deal with therapy for her child because she wanted to commit suicide, unfortunately, because of books that she read at the library. And these are all 3 of these parents are good Christian loving people that they raise their children up in Christian homes. But come on, it's like the culture is going to influence. And the fact that our taxpayers, your taxes, my taxes, paid for these books to be in an area that a child had access to. And we would never allow, nudity or, a lot of this stuff that happens in books to happen publicly in a park, right?
I mean, and we've seen how many videos of Pastor John Machukwu who will go into these library board meetings and he'll read the book to the board members and they'll be like, "Sir, this is obscene. You can't do this at our meetings." Like, then why is it in our library where our kids can find it?
Absolutely. And what I would encourage people to do is not only find out what's going on with their library boards. Okay, who is on your library board? And then go to your local library and look in the catalog and find all of these books that your tax dollars paid for. Okay, just remind that if you are a believer, and even if you're not, your money is being used to promote this to children and even adults who might not have their mental capacities fully. You know what I mean? And so, but also another way is to find out who appoints your library board members. But also, Secretary of State Trey Hargett, he actually oversees the libraries.
Yes, and you had a meeting with him last week. I want to talk about that real quick, though. One more time, where is your meeting tonight, and what time is it at?
It is at 3:30 p.m. at the Hendersonville Public Library, and it's in the community room.
3:30 Hendersonville Public Library Community Room.
Yes.
3:30 Hendersonville Public Library Community Room. I just want to make sure that we reaffirm that a couple times, and then we'll make sure we close with that as well. So last week, after our interview, you go and you have a sit down with Trey Hargett, the Secretary of State. He oversees all the libraries in the state. Mm-hmm. He has to be just as upset with this as you, no?
Well, I thanked him for the memo that he sent about, reminding everyone that, the executive order, no transgender, ideology can be purchased with federal funds. And so I point blank asked him, I said, well, like you did in your surface agreement with the libraries in 2023, where you said you have to include this in your collection and development policy, I said, would you be willing to put that as a requirement in the collection and development policies when it deals with transgender?
And this would affect every library in the state.
It would affect every library in the state.
And what was his reaction when you asked him if he'd be willing to add that to the policy?
Well, it kind of hemmed and hummed, and then he said, well, I would be open to the conversation.
So would you call it lukewarm?
I would say that I think he needs to hear from Tennessee residents, from people of Tennessee. He needs to get some emails saying that, you know what, I think you should put that in the policies.
The only thing that they respond to is public pressure. What is Trey Hargett's email?
I apologize. I think it's trey.hargett@secretaryofstatetn.gov. And I could be wrong.
Okay. You can also go to communications@tnsos.gov as well. Go. Communications@tnsos.gov, and you can flood them with that, or you can call them as well, 615-253-2668. And if anybody wants those numbers, if you can't write them down right now, you can text the super text line, and I'll text those back as well, because this would affect every library in the state, not just Sumner County.
Correct. And because every library has to do a service agreement, an annual service agreement with the state, because so that we can get the federal and state funds. And so if we want to get that, we have to sign this. And in 2023, we had to make sure that sexually explicit materials was in our policies for protecting minors. So he could easily just do that as well.
With just a stroke of a pen.
Absolutely, which is the stroke of a pen.
And he wouldn't need a vote. He could do it today if he wanted to.
He could. Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely
he's only open to the conversation.
He's open to the conversation.
Well, maybe we should bring the conversation to him.
That's what I think. I think it would be great. And, the fact that he did put that memo out was great.
Yeah, we're not knocking him too hard.
No, no. But I think he needs a little bit of a push because, and I think he just needs to hear from us. Yeah.
Well, and I think today is the day to do it. Again, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I've had so many texts, so many emails, so many calls. How do I get involved? How do I get mobilized? This is an easy way to do it. You can show up to the Hendersonville Public Library today at 3:30 in the communications room and make your voice be heard that you don't want these books in Sumner County. That's an easy way. Maybe you're not in Sumner County. Maybe you're over in Rutherford. You can't make it out there. Then an email could go a long way as well, saying, I don't want this in any of our state libraries.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's easy.
That is easy. And
it's not a heavy lift.
It is not. It's just a quick email. I want you to put it in a policy, And, Charlie Kirk, he was about our, because everyone says it's a First Amendment issue. Charlie Kirk, he swatted that away so many times. Free speech and First Amendment, and I said this last week, and I know Charlie Kirk has said it, is that our rights are based on our unalienable rights are based on a sovereign God, right? Yep. And so if all these people that want this transgender stuff in our libraries are like, well, what about our rights and our rights? Well, you have to see where that source came from. If those rights are coming from a sovereign God, then, and you want to claim those rights, then you have to also believe in that sovereign God.
And there's a huge difference between book banning and First Amendment rights than having taxpayer-funded dollars going to this.
Absolutely.
As a parent, if you are wanting to indoctrinate your kids with that ideology, those books are available.
Yep.
You can go get the ABCs of LGBTs all over Amazon.
Yes.
It's just that I don't want my kids to be subjected to that when they go into a public library.
Correct. Nowhere that I have found does it say that the government can forcibly use tax dollars to fund something that would go against the government or go against the foundation of our country. And again, we're not banning anything. We're curating our collection with the amount of space that we have and with the money that we have. And I can guarantee you, because Turning Point, I'd been talking with our chapter in Turning Point, and they were completely behind what I was doing and what we're trying to do. So I absolutely know that Charlie Kirk would support this policy 100%. And would encourage people that you have to take a stand. If we don't take a stand now,
then our kids won't be able to do it either.
No, and children are suffering. They are suffering because
it's the most depressed generation. It's the most mentally unwell generation. And we have to step up and do this. All right, so It's also important to note the entire county commission in Sumner County does claim to be Republican.
Yes.
They appoint these library board members that are failing to protect these kids.
Yes.
You can email them, countycommissioners@sumner-countytn.gov.
Nope. SumnerCountyTN.gov.
SumnerCountyTN.gov, sorry. Library board members at SumnerCountyTN.gov or Trey, Tre.Hargett, Hargett at TNSOS.gov. That's his email as well. If you miss the emails, I just hit the text line and I will copy and paste for anybody that wants them. The Trey Hargett one especially, that would affect every library in the state.
Everybody in the state.
You want a call to action, you want to know how to get involved and how to get mobilized, this is it for you. This is an easy way. It's not a heavy lift. Joanna Daniels can't do all of this on her own, but together we can make this history.
Absolutely can. And, this would be the first transgender policy in the state of Tennessee for books, because Rutherford County had to withdraw theirs, but they're working on it again. And this could be huge. So, and if it got passed on Charlie Kirk Day, wow.
It would be awesome.
It would be amazing.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you leading the fight, Joanna. Thank you so much. If anybody wants those emails for Trey Hargett or for the county commissioners in Sumner County or the library board members, just hit us up on the text line, and I will send you those emails. And the meeting today is at 3:30, Hendersonville Public Library in the communications room.
Yep.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Joanna Daniels, thank you for the time. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I so appreciate you.
It is 9:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're tired of back, knee, neck pain ruining your life, listen up. This is going to change everything for you. It's not going to break the bank. It's the Big Daddy Trump special from the Wellness Institute, and it's only $12, and it's going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. That's it. Just $12. You heard me right. It's not going to break the bank. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley, they're not trying to just make a bunch of money off you. They just want to get you back to a pain-free life. And it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. Sciatica, numbness, neck pain, bulging discs, they'll treat it all. What you won't find, painful injections, surgery, or opioids. That's not their style. They're going to focus more on non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. This is the way to go. A lot of their patients say, why didn't I come here first? Don't do that. Just go there first. Give them a call today. Grab your MRI. Get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Investigators admit that the work to process the scene of Friday's deadly explosion at AES is going to take a long time, and it's going at a snail's pace. But Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis says the slow pace is intentional so they can safely collect and process DNA being collected at the scene. He named all 16 victims yesterday.
That's the name of our 16 souls that we're still trying to take care of and their families.
The TBA is using rapid DNA technology to help make the process as fast as they can. Warren County District Attorney Chris Stanford has resigned. He was charged recently with felony reckless endangerment after a bizarre incident in Smithville when he showed up during a police chase of 3 suspects. Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
Well, investigators say one of them rammed a car into a deputy's truck. Well, Stanford then fired shots toward the suspect. One of his bullets went through a home with a family inside.
Yeah, and one of those bullets narrowly missed a 3-year-old girl inside that home. Stanford's trial date is set for next year. The sniper who killed 2 detainees in a van outside an immigration office in Dallas last month died by his own hand as police closed in on him. But ABC's Jim Ryan reports new documents may provide clues about the gunman's psyche.
Joshua Yon, according to his own parents, was a loner obsessed with artificial intelligence. Documents obtained by the AP show the 29-year-old spent most of his time in his bedroom at his parents' house in suburban Dallas. Steam, a game distribution platform, shows Yon logged more than 11,000 hours on first-person shooter and survival games before he opened fire on an immigration office.
And his parents also say after returning from work at a cannabis farm in Washington, Jan was convinced that he had radiation sickness and wore gloves to avoid contact with plastics. President Trump is back in Washington after traveling to the Middle East yesterday to celebrate the Gaza ceasefire. Many items of that deal remain unsettled, though, including the handover of the remaining hostages who died in Hamas captivity.
Satellite images assessed by the UN showing 83% of structures in the Strip are damaged. So much remains to be done, not least how to end the famine here, how to rebuild, and how to dismantle Hamas. It'll require all of President Trump's efforts to make sure that this ceasefire turns into a lasting peace.
ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell reporting there from Tel Aviv. That's the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Charlie, what you've done is incredible here.
Maybe Charlie Kirk is on the college campus.
I want you to know we are lucky to have Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's running the White House, folks.
I want to thank Charlie. He's an incredible guy. His spirit, his love of this country. He's done an amazing job building one of the most powerful youth organizations ever created, Turning Point USA.
We will not embrace the ideas that have destroyed countries, destroyed lives, and we are going to fight for freedom on campuses across the country. That's why we are here.
Charlie Kirk.
If you knew him, you love him.
Charlie Kirk was an incredible man.
One of the strongest, bravest people that I know.
Charlie has the work ethic of no one I have ever met in my life. I don't think it can be understated, the impact that he had.
One of the greatest communicators of the generation.
He was more than just somebody who would comment on the news.
He genuinely respected and genuinely loved, in a Christian manner, the people on the other side of the table. He didn't hate anybody.
He would give the shirt off a back to help someone that was in need, regardless of their political stripe.
His ideas were about faith, family, freedom.
This young man with an idea that became a movement.
What he built is part of his legacy, but also part of that legacy, more importantly, is a husband and a father.
Irreplaceable. He was irreplaceable.
He's a one of one.
Right? Charlie Kirk was at the tip of the spear, never flinched, never backed off. He wanted that back and forth, but not out of anger, not out of a place of he wanted to humiliate them or embarrass them or something like that, because he wanted to actually try to communicate with them.
He went into the belly of the beast, he went on these college campuses, and he evangelized.
This man who had a life force that was so much bigger than himself.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
I hope that the story of Turning Point USA, again, we started with no money, no connections, and no idea what I was doing, resonates with some of you.
It's a nonprofit called Turning Point USA.
To despair is a sin. And some people say, oh, Charlie, it's too hard. It's too overwhelming. It's too dark. Snap out of it. You still live in the greatest nation ever to exist in the history of the world. There is still so much to be hopeful and to be thankful for. And we have agency. The globalists are worried that you are waking up. They're worried that their fraud and their nonsense is finally being exposed, and you are at the central nerve of all of that. Ask God how to use you. Find a place to plug in. I am thankful for you. We had a vision because we love the country. Push yourself harder. Here I am. Lord, use me.
You guys might remember a year ago, I gave the whole speech of here I am, Lord, send me. And it was kind of this joke that we had as soon as I gave that message.
I remember him getting off stage and I said, honey, do you realize what you just did? He's like, yeah, I just, and I was like, no. You said, here I am. That is a very powerful statement. And God's like, I see you. Charlie is so obedient to God, to the word of God. And it's been so humbling to witness the way that God has used him this year, because he made that declaration a year ago, saying, here I am, I'm ready. Wherever you need me to be, Lord, I'll be, and I'm your servant. Just put me out there in the thick of it.
You see, they wanted us to be quiet and afraid and silent and subservient. They wanted us to cower into our corner. But the conservative movement has changed fundamentally. I hope you guys understand this. This is the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world. And I can say, wow, there was a debate. Is God done with this country? And now I can say confidently, no. God is not done with America, and our best days are ahead.
The White House put that video up for Charlie Kirk. I thought it was unbelievable. I wanted to play it for you guys, and this is the day to do it. It is the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk, and we're honoring him. It's crazy, man. The stuff he fought for wasn't exactly earth-shattering. It wasn't groundbreaking. It was just what we knew to be true for thousands of years, up until, 50 years ago. The simple message that Charlie preached was like a duh to a lot of people. A lot of people in this audience, it's duh. But to the younger audience, it's radical. Love God, get married, have children, love your country. It's pretty simple. Talk to people, debate ideas. When you stop talking, bad things happen. And that's what we saw. I loved Charlie Kirk. I loved working for Turning Point USA during the election. Was unbelievable. And I remember telling my wife, I was like, it's an honor of a lifetime to be a part of that, to be in the weeds with those guys during that election cycle. And now, it means even more. It's hard for me to explain. But the messages that he preached, again, they weren't crazy. They weren't stuff that we don't know to be true, but they were messages that young men and young women and pastors as well hadn't heard in a long time. This is one of my favorite Charlie clips. This is a message to young men, and I would challenge you to find this clip online. I'll retweet it as well, and it's on my Twitter account. But this is just a message to young men, and young men need to hear this.
Men, let's be honest. We got to raise our game in this culture. We are constantly around one. They say, oh, just go place another bet on this running back to run 100 yards. Just go to the cannabis dispensary and medicate yourself. That's all a bunch of BS. Go look to your grandfather's generation that stormed Normandy Beach, that built this nation, that started big businesses, that went on adventure. If the most important thing for you is just feeling good, you're going to end up miserable. But if the most important thing is doing good, you will end up purposeful. Purpose will give you happiness. You see, we live in a country where they think that purpose, where they think that happiness is pleasure. We know that purpose is above all of this. Serving God, understanding why we are here, that we are made in His image, that there is a struggle of good versus evil. By the way, you're involved in that struggle every single day on the college campuses. Every day you get to fight for what is good and what is true and beautiful. So next time when you're on a college campus, and if you want to be a man, this is what you do. If you want to stay a boy, go and do what your other friends do. But men say, you know what? No, I'm actually not going to go hook up with a bunch of girls. I'm going to save myself for marriage. Actually, I'm not going to go do that. But if you want to go be a boy, go do that. It takes no skill and no talent and no self-restraint whatsoever just to follow your flesh.
Amen.
An animal can do that. A dog can do that. Do you know what mature people do? Mature people say no to what feels good, and they pursue what is good. And far too often on college campuses, we have these grown boys, and I'm talking to a lot of you in this audience, and it's time for you guys to up your game. It's time for you guys to stop doing just what feels good all the time. Oh yeah, we're just gonna go get, blackout drunk till 2 a.m. and hook up with some stranger. No. If you wanna stay in the lower standard, a miserable cycle of debt and suffering and depression, lack of community, go do that. Instead, on a Saturday night, say, you know what? I'm going to hang out with some friends that are not going to drink, are not going to, engage with this stuff. And then maybe on Sunday morning, I'm going to go to church, or I'm going to go to mass, and then I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to study. Who will be happier? You know I'm right.
Everybody knows he's right. Here's the thing. In 2 minutes, he hit the young men in that audience with more truth than some of them had heard in their entire lives. That was at Chapter Leadership Summit. This is one of the things that Turning Point does. It's not just, Turning Point isn't just an after-school club, right? Like that's not their goal. So every year they would do Chapter Leadership Summit, and this is in conjunction with another event. But they would fly students out, all the students that are involved in Turning Point at high school and the college level. They would fly them out, and they would equip them with real truth, real knowledge, great speakers, how to get mobilized, how to get active, how to bring some structure to your life. That's what Charlie did that was so different. Now I'll be honest with you. The men were much more willing to accept Charlie's message than the women. In these audience, it's just the facts. It's just the facts. But Charlie had a message for young women too. And I think the message to young women is as equally as important. And if you have a daughter, you have nieces, that this is a message that they need to hear as well, because it's rooted in truth. It's rooted in biblical values. He didn't just talk to the men. He talked to the women as well.
Women, number one, it is unspeakably unattractive to your fellow man when you have body counts that are 5, 6, 7, 8. Men do not want to date women that are sleeping around campus all the time, period. They don't. And I see a lot of these women looking around right now. Oh, you were applauding when I was bashing men. But when all of a sudden I'm criticizing women, you can't do that. If you could clap for the truth on one side, be able to receive it. It is unattractive to men when you're going around and you're bragging about how many other men you're sleeping with. Number two, be a godly woman who is willing to submit to a husband under the covering of Almighty God. And if you have had your belief or your mindset so muddied, so polluted by modern culture, and you call yourself a Christian, I'm going to challenge you on that. Because in a marriage, you're going to submit to your husband, and you should submit to your husband. And by the way, the husband has an unbelievable responsibility to then submit to God and to make sure that marriage and that family is under a godly covering. Now, some women in this audience are like, nope, not for me. I'm going to make my own income. I'm going to find a man and we're going to be egalitarian. That's fine, but I'm going to just push back. That's not God's design for marriage. The man is the head of the household. That is as the Bible prescribes it. The Bible has prescribed it and has worked for thousands of years. And let's just ask a question. Is it working, this idea of egalitarianism? Divorce rates are nearly 50%. Depression is on the rise. Anxiety is on the rise. Because deep down, and I know this is true, deep down, the ladies, even in this room that play the girl boss thing on Instagram, deep down, you're begging for a man to lead you. I've deleted Instagram off my phone, but at times I get these profiles sent to me where it's always like you read the profile and it's like John 3:16, with a cross, the young lady, and they're dressed like something out of Playboy. And I say to myself, do you think that's the way to win a man? Do you think just plastering your half-naked body all over just so you know, oh, wow, men only look at me for my body and look at their social media. I wonder why. Because you put the entire body for the world to see out for everybody. Stop doing that. Stop it.
Yep.
And people will say, Charlie, you have no right to tell women. You can do it if you want. I'm telling you, it's preventing you from getting what you want. Because women say like, well, if I plaster myself like it's the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition all over my social media, men are going to come to me. Oh, men will come, but they will not stay.
It's harsh realities. It's hard truths, but the youth need to hear it. And why did Charlie have to do it? Because the church in this country took a back seat decades ago. This shouldn't have been Charlie's job. This should have been the pastor's job. But we lost our way somewhere along the lines. My pastor says all the time, I love the quote. He says, if we're the Bible Belt here in Tennessee, then our pants are around our ankles. And I think you can make that case with many churches in this country. Pastors got weak. They got more worried about butts and seats and how much money they were getting in tithes than anything else. And just for the record, we're going to go long here. I got RJ training. He's already looking nervous. We're going to go long. So Charlie had to speak these truths because the church didn't. And he understood that. And he wasn't just reaching out to the youth, which he did. He did at Student Action Summit. He did at Chapter Leadership Summit. He did it on college campuses and high school campuses all over the country. But then he started Turning Point Faith. And he said to the pastors, guys, where have you been? We need you to speak truth from the pulpit. And he would do these things. He would have big pastor summits. And those are still going to be happening. Those are still going to be going on. The message isn't going to die. But the point is, Charlie wouldn't have had to do this if the church had done the right thing. And he said to these pastors that he would gather, he's like, you understand that people are starving for the truth. This younger generation is starving for the truth. And I think that any adult listening in our listening audience, any grandparent, any mom, any dad, the same is going to go for you. Stop sugarcoating things. Tell your kids the truth. This was Charlie to a group of pastors.
The young kids, they don't want you to kind of sanitize all this stuff for them. They will come in flocks for you to say the blunt truth that you think is going to offend them. Yes, you need Jesus, but do you know why? You see, the reason why it's not yet being translated into revival is that they say, Of course, Jesus is your Savior, but we're not connecting the dots. How do you know you need a Savior if you don't know what you're saved from? And you only know what you're saved from if you talk about sin. So we focus everything on the fact that someone's going to save you from drowning, yet we don't tell a generation that they're drowning.
Right.
And they're so obviously drowning. It's the most suicidal generation in history, the most drug-addicted generation in history, the most porn-addicted generation in history, but objectively, the most miserable generation in history. And yet we say, you're just perfect the way you are. They don't feel perfect the way they are. They're telling you that everything is not okay. They're telling you that something is wrong. And the message that Christianity gives you is, well, he gets you, or whatever that commercial is. Right? Everything's fine. No, that's actually not how you win young people over. You win them over being like, you know what? You know why you're miserable? Because you're not following God's laws and commands. That's why, actually. And you'll never actually follow all of them. And that's why you need a Savior. Because if you don't have a Savior, then you're going to end up in a not very good place.
Amen.
And you won't end up being enough. Boom, mind blown. By the way, this is not like the Charlie Kirk thing. This is how the gospel was taught successfully for 2,000 years. And the last 40 years, we decided to hyper-modernize it, and it's been a failure, everybody. And that is the most important thing. What young people especially are screaming at is they say, give me a structure that I can live my life by. Give me a rubric that I can follow. Don't just affirm every bad decision I've ever made. In fact, it's okay if you tell me I've messed up, because you'll be the first person to tell me I've messed up in my life, because my parents won't tell me that anymore. My professors tell me I'm the greatest person ever. In fact, the modern church has been led to believe this secular lie that what this church what the generation needs is a better pump up. You know, yeah, you're enough and you can do it, because we think since they're depressed, they need to be pumped up more. It's, you know, it's kind of obvious, right? When in reality, they have everybody telling them the most narcissistic thing ever. You're the greatest. You're the most awesome. Take more pictures of yourself, more selfies, more Snapchats, more TikToks, more me. And all they do is they think about themselves all day long, right? And if you have anything wrong with you, you have to go claim mental health issues and go talk to a counselor, some of which are legitimate, some of which are obviously just concocted by the environmental factors around them. And they get in this endless spiral loop, when in reality, we have to do less affirmation, and especially with young men, more challenging of them, more saying, you know what? Honestly, I'm not going to talk down to you. Stop being a boy and become a man. You want to learn what that means? Come to church and I'll tell you what it means to become a man. Because we have the greatest story ever told of what it means to be a biblical man. We could tell you exactly what that means. And we're not going to sugarcoat it or sanitize it, because properly understood, the Bible is not a playtime book.
Yep.
The Bible is one, as of course all of you guys know, is one that teaches us at every moment of our life in the chapter that we are in with the struggle that we are currently encountering. The modern myth is this, or the modern context is that the worst thing ever is that someone will send you a nasty email saying that you offended them. We largely live under the soft tyranny of the offended peoples. And it's that angry worded email. Oh my goodness, I thought that this was this kind of church, and blah, 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 blah. And then your answer should be simple. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If you want to meet with me, I will lovingly tell you why I believe what I believe in the scriptures say. I want you to keep on attending my church. But if you are offended by something the Bible says is true, then I'm not going to dilute or weaken that stance. That I will not do.
The bottom line is, on this National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk, where he's going to be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom later on this afternoon at the White House, if you want to carry on Charlie's message, Charlie's legacy, tell the kids the truth. They can handle it. It's 1026, Super Talk, 99.7, WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Open enrollment is on the way. You're going to have to figure out health insurance, but it's confusing a lot of times. And if you're tired of health insurance that feels like a math test, like just random percentages and surprise bills and fine print that just kicks you in the rear end, let's make it simple. Cover Nash has a brand new nationwide PPO plan that gives you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. No referrals, no red tape. Just a $250 deductible, flat $50 copay for any doctors, even specialists. Outpatient surgeries, just $250. Hospital stays, just $1,000 total. Free preventative care, colonoscopies, mammograms, physicals, because it's ACA compliant. And here's the kicker: no surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. And if that's not the perfect fit, Cover Nash works with over 75 top-rated insurance companies. They'll find something that works for your budget and your needs. What you need to do is call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. Shane Ring will break it all down for you in a way that you can understand. 615-465-0023, or find Shane online, covernash.com.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson, and I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
So Mason tells me that I got 30 seconds here, and he said, do you want to go to news early or do you want to use it? I said, I'll use it, and I'll take your 30 seconds, and I'll use a minute because I got another Charlie Kirk here clip here that I'm going to use. And he's laughing in the background. He knows I'm doing it. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, by the way. I'm Chris Hand. What advice would you give to a young kid, Charlie?
What advice would you give to a young kid that wants to do something similar to what you've done with their career as far as starting Turning Point USA and just impacting people?
Strive to be a better person every single day, because your character is a reflection of your soul. Learn something new every single day. It doesn't matter where you go to college. It's just a piece of paper, honestly. What matters is who you are as a person. Take the relationships with people that are older than you very seriously and memorialize those conversations forever. Next time you sit down with a grandparent or a business person, record those conversations. You're going to want them. When you encounter difficulty, train yourself to blame yourself. Train yourself to say, it's my fault. What did I do wrong? That's hard. The more wise you are, the more cheerful and happy you will be. You live in a wonderful country. Man, what a gift we've been given. Don't get into the whole complaining that everything around me is terrible and awful. We talked about many of that. But believe that your actions matter. Apply yourself accordingly. Work harder every single day. And after a decade of that, I think you'll be in a pretty good place.
10:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The investigation into the deadly explosion at munitions facility AES continues. And Humphrey County Sheriff Chris Davis yesterday called for people to stop sharing what he called fake news on social media about the cause of the explosion.
If this is an accident, we want to prove it to ourselves that this is an accident. If this is something, not saying that it is or it is not, we only have that one shot to process that evidence and to be methodical and slow in making sure that it is that accident or it is something else.
Family members have been visiting the site. World Central Kitchen is there to serve hot meals. And the Salvation Army is supporting first responders. Changes are coming to Instagram after researchers reported the more time kids spend on sites like Instagram and TikTok, the lower their scores on reading and memory tests.
Instagram says it's limiting what teens can see and do on the platform. It says if a user under 18 searches for an adult topic or an account that typically posts content deemed inappropriate for minors, that content will now be blocked. Just yesterday, California became the latest state to require warning labels on certain social media sites when kids log on.
That's ABC's Faith Abube. Did you see it last night? Hundreds of people reporting seeing a falling meteor streak across the sky early this morning. Happened just before 2 o'clock. People online today are showing off their Ring doorbell camera footage of that bright flash and shooting star streaking across the sky. Could be part of the Orionid meteor shower, which peaks within the next couple of days. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. I know them as the pros that you need to call whenever something's going wrong with your waterproofing or your foundation. When you walk around your house today, ask yourself these questions. Are your floors sagging? You got cracks showing up in the drywall? You got a door that just won't shut right? You might think that this is just a little problem, but it's actually a red flag. This could be a huge warning sign. And it could mean that something's wrong with your foundation. Listen, a solid foundation is going to be the backbone of a strong home. Everybody knows that. And when it weakens, guess what? It's not going to fix itself. You got to call somebody that knows what they're doing. That's why I stand behind the guys that have been doing it since 1994, United Structural Systems. They've been keeping homes in Tennessee dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. USS uses American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. That's huge. That's how confident they are in their work. Even if you leave the home, the warranty can stay. That's clutch. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, these guys are going to fix it right the first time. So when it comes to your house, don't kick the can down the road. Call the people I trust, United Structural Systems. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com. It's 10:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm kind of stopping down this hour to honor the guy that gave me a lot of opportunities. Maybe you've heard of him, Charlie Kirk. I was blessed to be the media director for Turning Point USA. I was blessed to manage the influencer media program. I was unbelievably humbled to be a part of the Turning Point team during the 2024 election, and it was an honor of a lifetime. And when I stepped away, this was in late June. I had to do it just for some sanity because we were burning the wick at both ends. And I remember saying to my wife at the time, I think this is going to get more special to me as time goes along. When you get, for 2 years, from when I started here at Super Talk till, again, just June, I worked 2 full-time jobs. And I did all this mainly because of the grace of God. Secondly, because of my unbelievable wife. And, we have 4 kids. So it was a lot. But when I made the decision to step away, I remember saying to my wife, I said, this is going to get more special to me as time goes on. As the years pile on, my time at Turning Point USA is going to become more and more special. And I couldn't imagine what that meant today when I said it in June. And it means a lot to me. Honor of a lifetime. To be able to call Charlie Kirk the boss is something that's very special to me. So we're stopping down this hour and we're honoring Charlie Kirk. This is a video that really touched me to my core. They played this at the memorial service in Phoenix, which my wife and I were just humbled to be there and witness in person. I still haven't wrapped my head around that day. Still, I mean, we're weeks removed now, and I still have a hard time grasping just the moment that we were able to be a part of. But they played this video at the memorial service, and it highlights just the work ethic that Charlie instilled in everybody at Turning Point USA and what it meant to work there. And I would tell you should apply to work at Turning Point USA. If you want to get involved in a movement, there's nothing better than working with the people at Turning Point USA. And it was such a cool place. And I feel this way about Super Talk sometimes too. Like there will be people that like you're like, I don't really like your working style. Like, we don't really mesh personality wise. But when you run into that at Turning Point USA, it's like, at least at the end of the day, like our values align. At least at the end of the day, like we're all pulling in the same direction. And it was a very unique atmosphere. It was very special to be a part of that. And I was blessed to be a part of that. And I would tell you, just go to the careers page at tpusa.com and find something. Charlie's advice was like, apply for the job that you're not ready for. Take the leap of faith. Try something new. Reinvent yourself. And I would say the careers page at tpusa.com, especially if you're a young person listening to this radio station, you should do it. You should absolutely do it. It was weird. When I started my show here, I was the youngest person doing a show on Super Talk. Still am, technically. But then I was the oldest person working at Turning Point USA, one of the oldest. It's a really weird dynamic. But it was an honor of a lifetime to work there. They played this video at the memorial service, Charlie Kirk explaining what it means to work at Turning Point USA and what it means to say that we're going to be the standard of excellence.
Work on something that is much bigger than yourself. So check your ego at the door. This is not about you, okay? I don't care about your feelings. If you're having a bad day, go figure that out yourself. This is about us. This is about the country. And the eyes of the whole nation are again on Turning Point. We do the best events in the movement. In fact, we do the only event. Are there any other events in the movement? No. We've got to put everyone else out of business, right? So we are the only standard of excellence. And so we hold ourselves to a higher standard. We don't do mediocre around here. We try to raise the level of excellence because we are constantly trying to push the conservative movement and the country to a place it's never been before.
You guys know this. Turning Point USA is the most important organization in the country, period. Find me another organization that's been able to move millions of people the way that we have, that does the events, that does training. Nobody does what we do at Turning Point USA, but it starts with all of you guys. We're building something bigger than you, bigger than me. We're building an experience to help save the country. And if this type of intensity bothers you, well, then don't go work for Turning Point USA. You can go work for the Department of Labor or something, okay? Because here we do excellent things. We do big things. We make history here at Turning Point USA. It's going to be early mornings, it's going to be late nights, but you all get to know that you're doing something rewarding. That is not just, a career and you check the box, but lives will be changed. How blessed are we that we get to be here celebrating the country and this is our job? It's pretty awesome. Here's the one thing that I hear from speakers throughout all the years. Your team is so impressive, and they're so young. Why is it, everybody? Because for us, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. This is not just another DC gig. This is about saving Western civilization. We are the most important organization in the country. You are part of it. It's something bigger than all of us, and it will have ramifications across the country. I'm so thankful for you guys. You guys have really defied gravity, and let's continue to make history here.
So I think that one of the cool things about that video is the words that you heard Charlie speaking. That was at a staff meeting. I had the honor of being in that staff meeting, and that's how he talked to the people that work for him. That was Charlie all the time. I think that's one of the things that made Charlie so special and so unique is that when you heard Charlie on his radio show, that's who he was at the office. And that's who he was at the house. And that's who he was with his friends. And when I started my radio show here, there was a lot of guys that I looked to, and I'd never done talk radio before. There's a lot of guys I looked to, and I'm like, okay, what can I do? How can I create a level of success that, I mean, I'm not going to get to that level, let's be perfectly honest. And I'm not trying to, but like, what can I do that these guys are doing that's right? And it was like, no matter who I looked at, whether it was Dan Mandis or Howie Carr or Charlie Kirk, or Rush, there was one common thread, and it was authenticity. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I can be me. I can do that. And that was one huge thing I took away. I also have a video here. The White House put this out, and I think that this one it's a bit longer. But, I mean, it is Charlie Kirk Day, so it's about Charlie. This is it's a long video, I'll be honest with you. This is one of the, if I ever played this long of a video and it wasn't Charlie Kirk Day, I might get called into the back office, to be perfectly honest with you. But it's Charlie Kirk Day. And they canceled the event, so whatever. So this is from the White House. And the White House put this out, and it's a lot of people commenting on Charlie Kirk. And it's everyday Americans to cabinet members, how Charlie Kirk's voice has reshaped the conservative movement. I like this one a lot. I hope you'll enjoy it as well.
Charlie Kirk was a great Christian man, an incredible patriot, a visionary leader, and a kind human being. He started out as the leader of a political movement, and he ended as the leader of a Christian movement, a revival. I think through eternity be remembered as our generation's maybe greatest evangelist.
I was in touch with Charlie just about every single day, going back many, many years. The last time I heard from him was the day before he was assassinated. The most fitting description I've heard of Charlie Kirk over the course of these last several days has been the description of calling him one of one. There was only one Charlie Kirk.
I met him during the transition. I was actually quite nervous. I don't get starstruck very often, but he was one that I knew about and the impact that he had. And so when I met him, he was sitting at he's so tall, and he was at a little small desk, and I was like, I don't think that desk quite fits you.
Big, giant, tall guy walks in, full of energy, just enthusiasm and passion.
The first time I met Charlie was in July of 2021, and I did his podcast, and I think both of us approached each other with some trepidation because we came from such different let's say, constellations of presumptions and worldviews. But after that, after my first meeting with Charlie, we became fast friends.
I knew Charlie from almost the beginning of his efforts, and he said, we're gonna do something with young people that no one says can be done, no matter where the political curve was. Republicans in, Republicans out, Trump in, Trump out. Charlie was always building.
I was really struck by the massive crowds of people who would turn out to these campus events for him, to talk to him, to have the chance to see him in action. The energy was electric and palpable, and it was just so cool to be in an environment where people were gathering together really to celebrate free speech and to engage in that dialogue and that debate that really Charlie did uniquely, period, but also Charlie certainly did better than anyone else.
Charlie was showing up, challenging other people to come and to debate him on ideas, to be able to engage substantively.
His mission was to exercise our First Amendment rights, celebrate and defend free speech, even if it's speech that you don't like or that you disagree with.
I'd tell Charlie, I'm too old to participate in Turning Point, and he would say, no, you're not. You're there to mentor young women. And he cared so much about everyone mentoring younger people in the next generation.
Charlie was an institution, right? And we all know who he is. And he has a meaning to people my age and older and a little bit younger.
What was key about Charlie was that he was a really good judge of character and a really good judge of people.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
The work he was doing really reminded me of Matthew chapter 9, when they say that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. But Charlie was in the vineyard every day, making sure that the workers were plentiful to meet the moment.
But you saw this unique transition where he started to talk about his faith, talked about God.
Charlie did get bolder and bolder in his faith over time, frankly, encouraging a lot of others, including myself, to do the same. And I had a chance to talk to him about this a little bit over the years. You look at the problems, the societal problems, the cultural problems, and trying to fix them simply at the political level won't get it done.
If you don't have faith, if you don't have a relationship with God, if you don't start a family, the true things that give you joy, you don't have anything in life.
Charlie exemplified what it meant to have a personal relationship with Christ. He exemplified what it meant to live life to the fullest.
All the conversations about politics are ultimately futile if we don't know that there is a God and it's not us. When you understand that, the things of the political world, which are important, they all become secondary. Because you realize the battlefield is not of this world. It's not a political battlefield. It's a spiritual battlefield.
Amen.
Tax rates are great, and limited government's wonderful. But if you want to affect the human heart, if you want to affect the human life, again, that's not politics. This is humanity.
Andrew Breitbart famously said, politics is downstream of culture. And if you want to add to that, maybe Charlie Kirk taught us that culture is downstream of our faith. And so, yes, culture is more important than politics, but faith is what defines what kind of culture we live in. And Charlie understood that, and he lived it.
My current belief, and I think it's the right way of looking, is I'm far more interested in what God wants of me than what I want from God.
One word to describe Charlie Kirk. I look at him and think how powerful he is. So if I could think of one word, I think it's powerful.
Ethical.
Faithful.
Passion. Charlie lived with passion.
To ascribe one word for Charlie, it would be he was a force.
Personal. He's a man of courage.
He was resilient in his faith. He was resilient in his conviction. He was resilient in his knowledge of the Word of God, his love for the country, his knowledge of being a patriot.
Charlie was a man of honor, of character, love for God, and of course, love for his family. And that's what I believe he'll always be known for.
Well, to Charlie, I would say on this side of eternity, thank you for answering the call. And as a believer, I will see him again.
For many of us in this country, we'll know we'll see him again. But I want to say thank you. Thank you for what you've done for so many of our young people.
Well, first of all, I would just express enormous gratitude.
What you allowed God to unleash in our country, you were a really, really important vessel. You ran hard. And it's hard to even talk about his name in the past tense still. It's difficult to articulate the depth of gratitude that we should all hold for Charlie Kirk.
Charlie would not want anyone to be silenced by that bullet that stole him from us. I feel like the message that the world is sending to Charlie Kirk right now is that his sacrifice certainly wasn't for naught.
I have the greatest respect for you, Charlie. You lived your dreams, you lived your morals, you lived your passion, you lived your objectives. You didn't hold anything back. You left nothing on the table. You brought it all. You always brought it all, and you always brought it out there. And I love you for it.
Thank you for the inspiration, Charlie. Thank you for making yourself a template, a paradigm of strength and moral courage. And you've given us an example to follow.
I would say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a great American. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for being an example of how you treat and talk about your own wife, how you talk about your own kids. I think we are in need of great examples in America. And Charlie, you have been a great example.
We know that Charlie is now in the arms and the loving embrace of Jesus Christ, who he dedicated his life to. And in that knowledge, we too can rest in God's love.
He started a group called Turning Point, and it turns out he was the turning point. And God had a higher purpose, an even greater purpose.
National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. We're doing it today on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way after the news with Ken Weaver at 11 o'clock, my friend Joe Bob, who is the host of Turning Point Tonight, Turning Point's TV show on Real America's Voice, is going to join us live. You can watch that on the YouTube stream, on Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all the things, and you can listen to it on your radio. That'll be coming up at 11:05. We're still honoring Charlie Kirk, but we got a lot more to get to. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Defense Systems, and I've taken the training at Defense Systems, and I got to tell you personally, it's incredible. This is real-life skills that you're going to learn that could actually save somebody's life. This is not a skill that I want to have to use. This is not something I'm excited to ever have to use, but I'm grateful that I have these skills. Defense Systems is a life safety and security consulting firm, and they specialize in physical security and active violence mitigation training. And they train everybody, schools, corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms. They've even trained country music tours. They trained our staff here at Cumulus Nashville, and when they brought them in, everybody's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do the training. But it was eye-opening for a lot of the staff. Not for, guys like me or Murphy who have taken it before, but for the staff that hadn't been part of this training, eye-opening. It's not check the box. This is real skills that you can use anywhere, even outside of work. They've actually trained over 30 Middle Tennessee schools already. Has your kids' school gotten this training? If the answer is no, I would say call Defense Systems today because, as we all know, it's statistically low, but the chance is there, and these active violence situations are on the rise. So if the danger spills into an everyday place, do you know what to do? If you or a loved one were critically injured, could you step up and make something happen? If the answer is no, don't wait until it's too late. Visit defensesystems.com or call 615-236-6484. That's 615-236-6484. That call could save a life.
11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Israeli officials confirming the identities of 2 killed hostages returned on Monday. They were among the 4 remains transferred back to Israel, but Hamas has yet to turn over the bodies of 24 additional hostages. That as emotional reunions take place following Hamas' release of the last living hostages, and Israel released around 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pennell is in Tel Aviv with more.
Assessed by the UN showing 83% of structures in the Strip are damaged. So much remains to be done, not least how to end the famine here, how to rebuild, and how to dismantle Hamas. It'll require all of President Trump's efforts to make sure that this ceasefire turns into a lasting peace.
Well, here's some good news if you're traveling, and of course we are every day in and out of Nashville, some of us. ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has some numbers on gas prices.
The average price of gas nationwide, $3.02 a gallon. We could see drops below $3 for the first time in years. So that's really good news. The price has dropped more than 6 cents over just the past week, more than 14 cents from just a year ago. AAA says this is because of the seasonal transition from that summer to winter grade fuel, and gas inventories are higher. They also predict we're likely to see these prices go down even more in the coming weeks, just in time for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right now, Middle Tennessee, the average per gallon is $2.82. That's 10 cents less than last year at this time. President Trump's new tariffs going into effect today. Lumber, furniture, other wood products, potentially adding more cost to surging home building and renovation projects. Here's Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis with more on the overall effect.
Goldman Sachs crunched the numbers on this. Consumers are bearing the highest burden. They will pay by the end of this year more than half of the burden, 55%, and then into next year, they will pay 70% of that burden. You've got businesses paying a small portion and then international countries paying an even smaller portion.
Last year, Instagram rolled out teen accounts, which the company says are designed to create a safer online environment for kids. Now the feature's getting a major update, says ABC's Mike Dubusky.
Instagram users under 18 will now have tighter controls on language, images, and themes turned on automatically. Tara Hopkins, Global Director of Public Policy at Instagram, says it's the type of content you'd see in a PG-13 movie.
We're doing this to really speak the language of parents who are much more familiar with movie ratings in terms of kind of a familiar model for those who are using Instagram.
Also, teens won't be able to opt out of the system without permission from a parent. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Charlie, what you've done is incredible here.
Maybe Charlie Kirk is on the college campus.
I want you to know we are lucky to have Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk's running the White House, folks.
I want to thank Charlie. He's an incredible guy. His spirit, his love of this country. He's done an amazing job building one of the most powerful youth organizations ever created, Turning Point USA.
We will not embrace the ideas that have destroyed countries, destroyed lives, and we are going to fight for freedom on campuses across the country. That's why we are here.
It's 11:08 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I'm very excited to have you here. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Joined via Zoom. You can watch this on the YouTube stream, the Rumble stream. My friend Joe Bob is joining us. What's up, Joe Bob?
What's going on, man? Good morning.
How you doing, dude? The last time I saw you, you were with your beautiful wife, and you guys only had one baby. Since then, you've welcomed another wonderful child into this world. How's the new one doing?
The new one is doing well. My wife was not super stoked that I took almost zero time off. All things considering going on in the world, figured, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep doing the work that we're doing. But overall, second baby is just, I'm so much more chill. Maybe that's because we're more chill.
Yeah, dude, babies feed off vibes and energy, and I think that plays a huge part in it. And I was honored. So just in case anybody doesn't know, Joe Bob is a Turning Point USA contributor, and he hosts Turning Point Tonight every weeknight at 9 o'clock Central on Real America's Voice. And when you got a day off, I got to fill in for you on Turning Point Tonight, and I was honored, especially, it was so close to everything that had happened, and it was an honor of a lifetime to fill in for you. But I said, man, take as much time as you need. And he said, that's about it. That'll do it one day. And I think that's how you honor Charlie. You could just get back in the grind.
I was going to say, Charlie, he wouldn't have been upset that I took a day, but he would have been like, okay, when are you coming back? So, no, and also too, it's like one of those where this sort of thing doesn't happen in terms of the attention being drawn to the very thing Charlie would have wanted attention being drawn to. So I figured, it would be the best to just get right back on the saddle. I did watch the episode that you filled in for, Chris, and it was fantastic. And I think I was texting the producer in real time because you did it like a radio show where you've got a bunch of clips, and we were not necessarily super clip heavy, not to get into the weeds of this sort of thing, but you inspired us to make some changes on the show too. So I appreciate all the work that you did there.
Well, listen, it's my favorite show, and I have noticed it's gotten so much better since I filled in. So it's been a surprising development. Tell me something about Charlie that people don't know, that's really kind of like inside baseball that you know from working with him so closely.
There's so much to say, because I think what I've been doing too on the tour stop events that I've been going to. I went to one in North Dakota last week with sold out crowd, and then I'll be at I think in Indiana with Tucker Carlson next week, doing those same type of tours. And what I've found is that the most engaging component of this is just telling stories about Charlie and just kind of how he would interact with people, how he'd interact with me, and kind of what those interactions looked like. Because I think a lot of people, and by I know a lot of people see all the debate clips. You see him kind of dunking on college libs, which is great. Everybody loves seeing that sort of stuff. But in a lot of ways, there's sometimes a lack of the human element there, because you see the debate clips, you kind of see, contentious conversations, which is great. We want to see those sorts of things, but you often forget. And sometimes, specifically the libs forget, the guy was a person. He liked to laugh. I think that's been my biggest thing, is he liked to laugh like everybody likes to laugh, because if you remember that people like to laugh, it's a humanizing element to it. And I think that's super important to remember. So I've been going around telling stories about Charlie and some of the more hilarious moments that he had. And I think the one at the top of my head was, I don't know if this is too spicy for radio.
But make it spicy.
I'll leave it vague-ish unless you give me the green light.
Green light, brother, green light.
Okay.
This is what we're here for.
All right. Well, so a couple weeks ago, it was relatively recently, I think it was like at the beginning of August, remember the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, Chris, when
Yes.
libs put us in just the most difficult situation of having to defend the fact that Sydney Sweeney is hot.
Yep.
It was so terribly difficult for us to do. It took a lot of grit, skill, and being heterosexual to realize that Sydney Sweeney is in fact hot. But libs had a total another meltdown over it, and they posted a bunch of videos talking about how terrible it is that we think that Sydney Sweeney has good genes, which she objectively does. Which, sorry, Chris, by the way, tangent on tangent on tangent. Yes, Sydney Sweeney has good genes. You know who else I think has good genes, and people might not like this? J.B. Pritzker. That guy has the genes of a good heart that can keep that massive body continually moving day to day. So the good genes works in both directions, in case anybody's concerned about that. But anyways, during that whole process, there was one video that really stood out that I was like, and so I did, and I sent it to one of the Turning Point producers, and because he didn't have social media, so I knew he wouldn't actually see it. I was going to post it later that afternoon, and I did a video, and I sent it to him, and he texts back, "Bro, that's hilarious. Also, please don't post that yet." He's like, "I got to get clearance on that."
Dude, I know which video you're talking about. I think it's one of the funniest ones you've ever done.
Can I tell him what it is?
Yeah, tell the joke. Tell the joke, because I think, don't bury it.
Well, so the story goes. So I texted it to this producer. This producer says it's super funny, but also, holy cow, don't post that yet. I got to get clearance.
Yes.
So he sends it to his boss. His boss sends it to their boss. She ends up sending it to Charlie. And so this like joke that I didn't really even think anything of. I just like, oh, this is funny. Ended up making it all the way to the top. And so the joke was, there was a video of this girl who happened to be black standing outside of an American Eagle store. And the person with the camera said, "Hey, do you want to go in this store?" And she said, "I can't go in American Eagle because I'm black," which is an absurd thing to say, by the way. Like, that's, I think the biggest element here is that I wanted to make sure that everybody knew what she said was completely and utterly insane. Now, I responded with equal absurdity because I said, she actually might be right. I don't think American Eagle accepts EBT. And it's a joke. It's a hilarious joke. And by the way, again, what she said was worse because she was serious about it.
Yes, 100%.
Well, so that made it all the way to Charlie, and Charlie texted back, "Do it." and so I said, "Cool," but it's even funny then, Chris, too, because you understand the inner workings of Turning Point pretty well, and I totally understand this. I get it. There are people, the higher ups are, their job is to protect the brand, right?
100%.
And so in that process, protecting the brand, there was a couple more text exchange going, "Hey, I think we should have a disclaimer on this." And I was like, "Really? Like a disclaimer?" They're like, "Yeah, we just want to make sure that people know it's a joke." I'm like, "This is clearly a joke. It doesn't need a disclaimer." And they're like, "Yeah, no, we still need a disclaimer." So I texted back. How about this? Disclaimer. Charlie Kirk himself wrote this joke, but he made me say it because I'm a brown. And Charlie texted back, "Perfect." And I think what I've been saying is, like, I think this highlights, like, the guy was funny.
Yes.
And two, I mean, everybody listening, everybody watching is probably aware of the accusations, the slander being thrown at Charlie. And I would just like to say that the type of person that allows, edgy jokes like that is only a person who is rooted in what they believe. The only type of person that would stray away from that kind of joke, that would be like, "Oh, I don't know about that," is a person that might be concerned that it might reveal some actual truth. Those are the type of people that stay away from that stuff. Charlie, again, didn't believe in race, just was forced to talk about it consistently because the libs won't ever let that sort of thing go.
Right.
And because of that, like, he knew what he believed, and none of the slander was going to affect him. So he anytime that sort of thing would come up, he'd say, like, "Yeah, let it fly. That's funny." And personally, I think he's right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and dude, that reel that you did was so funny. Joe Bob is a must follow on Instagram, by the way, and TikTok.
Appreciate it.
At Joe Bob, JOB OB. He's one of my favorite guys to follow. I repost your stuff all the time because it's classic. And
I appreciate it.
The Sydney Sweeney one was so good, dude. It was so good. I don't know how you think like that. And yeah, you have carte blanche because as you put it, you are a Brown. So
I am a Brown. Correct. I probably, if you're just listening on the radio, you're probably going, Joe Bob? That guy? What? Yeah, that's correct. My dad is a Samoan immigrant, and part of the Polynesian culture is combining two grandparents' names. I just happen to get, a name that works really well in Alabama.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, dude, you have a future in Alabama should you ever choose that. How did Charlie really impact and change your career personally?
Well, I mean, there's on a logistical scale, I guess, or from like a tangible career perspective, every single opportunity I think I've been given has come from Charlie. I was a Turning Point contributor, kind of by happenstance. I was posting dumb videos on the internet. They said, "Hey, come to Phoenix and do one of our shows," and from there, became a contributor. And then a couple months later, we were at an event in Dallas, Texas, and the headline speaker was supposed to be a conversation between Matt Walsh and Charlie. And this was like at the height of his What is a Woman tour,
right?
Matt Walsh's. And he was going to be an hour late to the event. So Charlie threw me on stage with no prior knowledge of like what I could do. And I did comedy for about 20 minutes. And from there, he said, "Hey, that was great. You want to come on tour with me?" And so I spent the last 3 years on the road with Charlie until, I'm still doing the tour stops. But earlier this year, he said, "Hey, can you host our Turning Point Tonight show?" And so as far as like a career impact, I don't have a career without Charlie Kirk. He has given me every opportunity that I could ever imagine, and even more than what I could hope for. But on like an emotional or at least like strategic, and sorry that the words are a little bit kind of, there's not really a great word for it, but there was several moments with him that are hard to kind of define, because I think they were moments that like happened in passing, right? They're not like big, like, oh, we're sitting down at dinner having an important conversation. But I can think of one. We were in Chicago, and just walking down the hallway from the stage doing a sound check to the green room, and Charlie said, "You got any new jokes today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I, was said, "This is going to be funny." And he ended up saying, just very off the top of his head, just, "Okay, cool, be precise." And again, I know that's not necessarily the biggest, earth-shattering advice, but up until that point, I don't think I'd ever really thought of that, being precise in your language. And now that's like the only thing I care about, being precise and making sure that you're saying things accurately. You're not conflating terms, because when people don't understand what you mean, that's when they get lost in the fray. And when they get lost in the fray, they start, going down the rabbit hole of thinking that men can be women and all that sort of thing. And so it's moments like that that really kind of stick out to me from how he changed the way that I was able to think about things. So several of those just be precise moments of kind of offhanded remarks that I'm sure he didn't think about a second time, but I've held on to for years and, continue to draw upon whenever, there's kind of like a fork in the road when it comes to how I'm going to present things.
I love that. And I love that that's like on the micro level, but he was doing all that on the macro level as well. Because
Totally.
I mean, a lot of his advice was just normal advice, but it's stuff that people didn't hear anymore. And I think that's what made him so popular. I do know your stand-up has been crushing on the tours, but I remember one time when I was working with you guys, when you said you had to go about 30 minutes late, right? Vivek was late, I think it was. Vivek was late.
Oh, yeah.
And I get a call from Joe Bob, and he's panicked. And I said, "What's going on?" He's like, "Do you think I'm going to get in trouble?" And I said, "Why would you get in trouble?" He said, so here's the inside baseball. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so we're not allowed to endorse political candidates. And he said, I only prepped for like 25 minutes, but then Vivek was late, so I had to do another 30 minutes. And then I got into all my political jokes, and Fox Nation was there. And I don't want to lose our 501c3. This is still in the midst of Biden, right? When the FBI is investigating us, which we all knew about, but we weren't allowed to talk about because it was under wraps. But he said, "Are we going to lose our status?" And I said, I remember this precisely. I said, "Who was filming?" And you said, "Fox Nation." I said, "Don't worry. Nobody watches Fox Nation."
Well, no, and I remember that. I remember that exactly because I think you were one of like 5 people I called because I get pretty panicked about that sort of stuff. The time was a little off. I think I was doing like 5 minutes and Vivek was like 20 minutes late, so I had to go an extra like 10 to 15. So yeah, if I did a whole hour, that would have been really, really compromising. But I don't even know if it was the 501c3 stuff I was worried about. It was some more of the. It's all clean. Like I'm entirely a clean comedian. But there were some racy jokes while remaining clean.
That's right. That's right.
That I was like, I don't know if this is gonna fly, but I currently don't have any other material at the top of my head, and and security hasn't gotten the main speaker through, so we're gonna wing it.
Listen, Joe Bob is an awesome guy. He's a funny guy. He hosts Turning Point tonight, every single night, 9 Central on Real America's Voice. What are you guys doing tonight on the show?
You know, we're going to play we're hoping to play some never before seen clips because we've got a bunch of content that made it, they got cut up into like short little social media clips, but we're never really seen in full. So we're hoping to get that on. At the same time, we're also going to re-air the ceremony at the White House, which nobody knows how long that'll be. So with the time left, we're going to air some of those clips. We'll eventually get to them. But at the moment, we're looking to kind of air the ceremony and then obviously some commentary around that. But should be a good show regardless, and hope to have you back on soon.
Yeah, man. And anytime you need me, I'm always willing to jump on. Joe Bob is a great guy. He hosts a great show, Turning Point tonight again, 9 Central on Real America's Voice. I know you're busy today, man. I know everybody's trying to get you on. And I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to us.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you. It's 11:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res of Nashville. You hear me talking about these guys all the time, and it's because we use them all the time. My wife and I, we're constantly running defense on the kids, but there's a lot of them. 4 kids, 2 dogs, and the carpets, they take the brunt of the abuse. I'm telling you the truth. I tell you all the time, my daughter dances with her applesauce pouch, and then we get the applesauce tornado, and it lands right on the carpet. And then we used to be like, what are we doing? We should just get rid of all these carpets. And now we don't. We just call Zero Res. See, Zero Res cleans with their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. It's very Maha-esque. And it means that your carpets and your upholstery aren't just going to look insanely clean, but they're going to stay clean longer. That way the kids can sprawl out on the floor, dogs can roll around. We don't have to worry about what's in the fiber. And it's not just carpets. They do everything. These guys are the best. Air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. It is perfect if your house is like my house and you got all them chilling running around. Right now, you can get any room in your home cleaned for just $45. It's a fantastic deal. Don't miss out on it. You can look at the reviews if you don't trust me. The reviews are overwhelmingly positive. I think it's 98% on Facebook recommendations. Give them a call today. You're gonna realize exactly why you should have called them a long time ago. 615-535-9376. Zero Res in Nashville. 615-535-9376 or book online, zeroresnashville.com. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Thanks again to my friend Joe Bob for calling in. He's awesome. Huge fan of Joe Bob and what he does. Turning Point Tonight is a great show on Real America's Voice every weeknight at 9 Central. We're looking forward to the Medal of Freedom ceremony that's happening today at the White House, 3 o'clock Central. Who knows how long that thing's going to last, but I'm going to be watching it intently. I know Matt Murphy will be covering it a bit, and it'll be on all of the Turning Point socials as well, should you want to rewatch it after Murphy's show this evening. It's going to be a must-watch. We'll cover that in length tomorrow, and we're really looking forward to that. On the way, we do have the lightning round, and I got a story in the lightning round that is going to help young men and women in this country. We're going to lead off with that when we get back. It's 11:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And there's good news, drivers. Gio Benitez.
The average price of gas nationwide, $3.02 a gallon. We could see drops below $3 for the first time in years. So that's really good news. The price has dropped more than 6 cents over just the past week, more than 14 cents from just a year ago.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, the average per gallon is $2.82, according to Gas Buddy. That's 10 cents less than last year at this time. President Trump's new tariffs going into effect today for lumber, furniture, and other wood products, potentially adding more cost to surging home building and renovation projects. And new documents may offer insights into the mental state of the man who carried out that armed attack on the immigration office in Dallas last month. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Within the past 5 years, according to records obtained by the AP, Joshua Yan moved to Washington State to work at a legal cannabis farm. When he returned, his parents said Yan was convinced that he had radiation sickness and wore gloves to avoid contact with plastics. On September 24th, Yan took a rifle to a rooftop in Dallas and took aim at a van outside the adjacent ICE office, killing 2 detainees and wounding a third before taking his own life. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Researchers finding more time kids spend on sites like TikTok and Instagram, the lower their scores on reading and memory tests. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel says the study highlights possible long-term effects.
This not only shows us that a small amount of social media can actually potentially interfere with learning, with school performance, but also that there's a dosage effect. So the more social media these kids are using, the worse they're doing.
So this study of students ages 9 to 13 claims about 1 hour per day on social media lead to test scores 1 or 2 points lower. Those spending more time on social media saw a 4 to 5 point drop. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? You know what else is easy? Calling Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is spooky season. You don't want to get tricked when it comes to your home. We usually do bee puns, but it's October, so we're going to do Halloween puns. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This is the crew that you can trust. When you call them, they won't ghost you. Here's the fun part. You join the Beehive Club for free this month. All you got to do is carve a pumpkin, or better yet, have your kids carve a pumpkin of Buzz the Bee. You don't even have to get your hands dirty if the kids are doing it. You throw that pumpkin on social media, tag Busy Bee, boom, you're in. You show up the carving skills, you snag some perks. Now here's for the real treats. You need HVAC service, schedule your fall maintenance, and you'll get free dryer vent cleaning. That's a $229 value. You got plumbing issues? They'll flush your water for free, your water heater for free with any plumbing repair. Your pipes are going to thank you. And if you're thinking about a new HVAC system, they got a scary good deal. Free 10-year parts and 5-year labor warranty with any system install. That's a $750 value. Oh, my gosh. Don't let the home headaches haunt you. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today, where the service is solid and the savings are spooky good. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. And the show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? You can find me all over the internet. I'm on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, and TikTok. All of them, and YouTube. All of them are the same handle, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. That's at Chris Hand on Air. If you're looking for any of the videos that we've played today, any of the Charlie Kirk stuff that we've played, the tributes, just shoot me a DM on Twitter, shoot me a text on the super text line, and I'll send you all the links. I've been doing that for everybody all day. Everybody's like, hey, you got that video? I'm like, here's everything I have. Everything I've pulled. This is for you. And I've been sending people novels because I'll be honest with you, I pulled far more than I've been able to play on air. So if you're looking for Charlie Kirk stuff, I got you covered. Find me on X, at Chris Hand on Air. This is the time of the day where we do what is the most anticipated segment of the show. It's highly acclaimed.
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
We run through all the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to during the show. We run through all the stories that wouldn't fill up a whole segment. We do a bunch of stuff. Anything you want to add to the Lightning Round, you're always welcome to at 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. If you got any hot takes, ice cold takes, if you agree with us or if you're just wrong, you're always welcome to chime in. I lifted that line from Joe Bob, who was a guest earlier. He says that on his show all the time. He says, feel free to email me whether you agree with the show or whether you're wrong. And I love that. Anytime somebody has a good line, whether it's my friends like Matt Murphy or Joe Bob, I will appropriate those lines. This is the Lightning Round. First story of the Lightning Round. Can you throw this up on the screen for me? Put this image up on the screen. This, if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Rumble or Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I think we got 3 people on Twitch. We have 3. How many people are on Twitch right now? Is it 3? I think it's 3. I still don't understand why we do Twitch. I get Rumble. It's a headache of a platform, but
we got 5 right now.
We got 5. I was wrong. That is significantly more than what I thought. It's a huge percentage jump, actually. If we're dabbling in percentages, that's almost a 100% increase over what I thought. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to Twitch. I don't know why people do that. It's like the Twitch is like the weirdest platform. It's like kids watching kids play video games, and then you're allowed to do it topless as well. It's an awkward platform. I don't know why they do it. Anyway, first story in the Lightning Round. We got something that I think is near and dear to the message of Charlie Kirk. One of the big messages of Charlie was that college is a scam. It is. It can be. I was actually talking to my kids about this the other night. Last night. We were on our way to baseball. And they were like, is college a scam? And I was like, probably. It depends. It depends on what you're going for. It depends on your direction. If you're going to flounder through college and you don't know what you want to do, it's probably going to just accumulate debt and it's going to be a waste of money. Just realistically, if you are very precise, to quote Joe Bob earlier, then you know exactly what you want to do, it can be a huge tool for you. It can be a huge asset. Make no mistake about it. I don't want to down it completely, but I love this story in the Lightning Round. This is what Home Depot is doing. They have started giving out free training to Americans who want to work in HVAC, carpentry, electricity, and construction. Unbelievable. Shout out to Home Depot. This is exactly what Americans need. We need more kids going into the trades. This is something that I've really been trying to impress upon my boys and my girls. I'm saying go to business school so that you can manage their business. But I mean, guys, you got 2 of you here. Like, learn how to plumb and learn how to be an electrician, and you're going to be set for life. These are skills that AI is not going to be able to replace. Right? AI is getting real weird. To be perfectly honest with you. I saw an AI video the other day, and it was Mr. Rogers versus Bob Ross in a ladder match, WWE style, and they went through a flaming table, and it looked as real as anything you could find on the internet. Like, AI has jumped the shark. So I say all that to say this. AI is not going to be able to unclog your pipe. It's not. AI is not going to be able to rewire the garage. And Home Depot doing this is unbelievable. And it's a huge head start for a lot of kids. You could do this in high school, guys. You could do this after school. Here's the best part. The classes are self-paced, and students will earn certifications that they can use on their resumes. This is awesome. Shout out to Home Depot for doing this. Home Depot giving out free training. I want to take advantage of this. just as like a homeowner. I don't know. Like it's weird. I'm not like the most handy guy. I'm not. I'm actually pretty useless if I'm being perfectly honest. I can change a tire. And I can unclog a toilet. I can do the basics. I can't install a new light fixture. Like I wish I could. And I'm looking at these classes and I'm thinking like, well, all right, well, how do I take advantage of this? It's free. It's awesome. Classes are self-paced and students will earn certifications they can use on their resume. Path to Pro is what they're calling it, building future tradespeople. Unbelievable. There's just a shout out to Home Depot. That's fantastic. Is Thomas mad at me? We got a caller on line 1. Is Thomas mad?
Yeah, he wants to argue that college isn't a scam.
Okay. What's up, Thomas?
Alrighty. I agree college is a scam in some instances, but I'm going into the aviation field, getting ready to start next semester at college. You do not need a college degree to get a job, but I've been told that as a white male, it's something I have to get hired. So, I mean, I think it depends on the industry. There are some industries you do not need a college degree for.
But Thomas, I thought you were mad at me and disagreeing with me. It's literally what I just said. Like I think there's a difference between a college degree in aviation and a college degree in liberal arts.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a waste of money if you're.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Thomas, you called to disagree, but we're agreeing, man. We're agreeing. We're on the same page. Trust me. Appreciate the call though. What did Uncle Phil used to call them guys? The Van Gogh listeners. Van Gogh listeners. All right, got another story for you here in the lightning round. It's when you hit the lightning. There it is. RJ is training at the School of Mason when it comes to hitting the lightning.
We're working on it, okay? We're making progress.
Mason is he's laughing so hard I think he's crying. All right. Here's another story for you in the lightning round. This one I think is cool, and this is right in line with Charlie Kirk. I wanted to bring this up yesterday, but I didn't have an opportunity to. But I think it's cool. I think you should celebrate this stuff. We often label the NFL as woke trash, and it is in certain instances. But when we levy those kind of criticisms, we should also bring high praise when we see it. And Jacksonville Jaguars star rookie Travis Hunter was baptized before Sunday's game versus the Seattle Seahawks. It's really cool. It's a really cool story. Highlight strong men. Highlight good men. This is what we do. A churchgoer said, I couldn't find my keys this morning and was late for church, only to come upon Jacksonville Jaguars Travis Hunter getting baptized. He asked to come get baptized before today's game. Thank you, Jesus, for touching this man's life. And if you're watching on the stream, you're seeing a video of him getting dipped in the pool, baby. It's awesome. I love to see it. Last weekend, we were at World Outreach Church. We had the Fall Festival. They're going to have another one this upcoming weekend, Saturday night. You're welcome to join. They had over 100 people baptized. It's just, I mean, like, you got to love it. You got to love it. And you got to highlight the good stuff. So shout out to Travis Hunter, the Jags rookie, for getting baptized before his home game on Sunday. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It should be celebrated. And if you got kids that are into the NFL, tell them about Travis Hunter. Tell them what he did before the game, how he got ready. That's awesome. That's clutch. Shout out to Travis Hunter. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one, I'll be honest with you. I saw this story, and my first thought was, that's cool. And I'll tell you why. It just felt classic. It just felt so classic. And then I went, oh, that makes sense. 14 suspects arrested for involvement in train robbery scheme. I'll tell you why I thought it was cool. Because my mind goes to a dude riding up on horseback with a bandana over his face and a cowboy hat, and he's getting in there. And you know what I mean? It feels like classic crime. Like make crime great again. It's not what this was, actually. I was a little bit disappointed. The picture I had in my mind felt a lot cooler, you know? Right? Like train robbery, that's a respectable crime. Remember my grandmother, Meme Hand, we love Meme Hand. She used to say to me, I kid you not, she said this. She'd say, Chris, if you're going to break the law, don't steal a candy bar. Rob a bank. Do something worthwhile. I always would laugh. I'd be like, Meme, not going to rob a bank, I promise. She's like, okay, well, don't steal candy either. All right, fair. I won't. But if you're going to do it, just go big. Okay, Meme, I got it. Chill. So anyway, more than a dozen people were arrested for their involvement in a train robbery scheme that took place in Southern California. According to the press release from Victor Valley Sheriff's Department, investigators from the Rural Crimes Task Force, along with railroad police and officials from the Hesperia Station Detective Bureau, carried out a search warrant on a home on October 6th. Investigators discovered 7 suspects who tried to flee and 7 others inside. On Monday, October 6th, 6:30 a.m., investigators from the Rural Crimes Task Force, with assistance from the BNSF Railroad Police and the Hesperia Station Detective Bureau, served a search warrant at the 14600 block of Willow Street in Hesperia. Search warrant is based on an ongoing investigation related to recent train burglaries within the Victor Valley area. As investigators arrived at the location, 7 suspects attempted to flee the residence. With assistance from the Sheriff's Aviation and Hesperia Station deputies, all 7 suspects were quickly apprehended and transported back to the residence. An additional 7 suspects were located inside of the residence. Now, here's where I'm like, seems a little weird. The individuals were identified as Jose Rodriguez Cecina, Thomas Valdez Olivieres, Jesus Jimenez Gonzalez, Johan Camargo Salazar, Juan Olivieres Valdez, Jesus Fierro Escalante, Leobardo Corella Correas, Juan Jimenez Garcia, Ezequiel Jimenez Gaxolia, Jose Navarrete Carrillo, Isidro Menedivil Mendez, Armando Gonzalez, Eloyd Paz Lizaragua, and Guadalupe Alejandro Rea. Now, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but something tells me maybe they aren't undocumented people. Maybe these are the Angelinos that they're always fighting for in California. Are they illegal aliens? They illegal aliens? Doesn't say in the report. Which also leads me to believe that they're actually illegal aliens. Because why would local media cover that part? Just a bit of pesky information. According to the press release, they located stolen property valued at approximately $42,500. Investigators also located approximately $55,000 in U.S. currency. CBS News reported that altogether, law enforcement officials arrested 31 people for their involvement in the train robberies, with warrants also being served at a home and a store unit in Victorville, along with that home. As a search warrant was being carried out, they located $42,000 in property and, in currency, and $133,000 in stolen property from the train burglaries. Officials also discovered and confiscated 8 illegal firearms, including 4 rifles and 4 pistols. But Donald Trump trying to clean up these streets, he's an orange fascist, dictator, and wannabe Hitler. Got it. That does it for today's edition of the Lightning Round. It is 11:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. We talk about these guys all the time. They are the absolute best, and if you need training, you need to go to the Glock Store. Listen, I could tell you all the great things about the Glock Store, and I will. And my phone is crapping out on me, and I'm losing my copy. Hang on one second, because they have a brand new special that's going on right now with Red Dot Optics that I need to get you the information on, because it's fantastic. Dan always sends me the copy from the Glock Store, and he is one of the best. They're having Vortex Day on Saturday. This is going to be unbelievable. It's going on from 9 to 6, and it's going to be fun, especially if you've never shot with any Vortex red dot optic or with any red dot optic. Vortex just announced and introduced the enclosed versions of their red dot optics, along with a brand new multi-reticle aiming system. Just $10 plus a box of ammo gets you into the range for a personalized red dot optic training session. When you decide that you just have to have one, and you will, you can apply the cost of the ammo to your new Vortex optic. Now, Vortex is allowing the Glock store to break the Vortex minimum pricing rules and slash the prices to ensure that they are the lowest in the country, period. But only on Vortex Day and only at the Glock store. And of course, there's going to be lots of great Vortex swag giveaways, including 10 of the new red dot optics. That's a $400 prize you might win just for showing up. The Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially tomorrow on Vortex Day.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Happy National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. I'm looking forward to that Medal of Freedom that's going to be awarded later on today at the White House. Chad Benson is in studio. What's up, Chad? How are you?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. We got a fun day. We're going to plant blueberry bushes. My wife is going to Martin's and picking up blueberry bushes.
Are you going to take your sweet coat off?
No.
I like that.
I'm gonna. If you're watching on the stream, I'm gonna wear all of my nice clothes while I plant blueberry bushes.
That's how you do it. It's mighty white of you.
Yep. Red, white, and blueberry. That's what we're doing today.
So that's cool. Where are you going to plant it out? Front yard, backyard? You got a little area where you're building all kinds of fruits and veggies?
I'm gonna check with management.
Solid.
Wherever she deems is the best spot, I'm going to say I couldn't agree more.
I was thinking the exact same thing, but you beat me to it because you're amazing.
She's unbelievable.
You're amazing. What'd you talk about today?
Well, we did the news of yesterday. The fact that the left-wing media, the mainstream media, is giving Donald Trump props.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit like hell froze over.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, I was looking last night and I was really digging to find somebody trying to spin it.
No.
And there's no spinning it.
No, they weren't spinning it at all. There's no reason. It's nothing you can spin at this point in time.
And it's a huge L for so the politicians still tried to spin it.
Of course.
Like the Jasmine Crockett's of the world and the Barack Hussein Obamas. And they don't want to give them any credit. But I'm like, I feel like that exposes them.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, I know. Because I know that Barack was on with Mark Maron. It was his final podcast ever. He did like 1,600 of them. And I know that, I don't know when they filmed that, though, but still, come on. Even Biden came out and goes, he did a great job. He did it. Give him kudos.
Yep.
Right?
Why not? What do you have to lose?
Yeah. Nothing. Because this wasn't about us. This was about other people and saving lives. That's it.
It's really funny, though, to watch them say, Donald Trump is a fascist. Donald Trump is Hitler. By the way, he just helped out the Jews.
Yeah. As Hitler was always doing, right?
And a guy to go within an hour. You get a standing ovation from Jews at the Knesset to then getting a standing ovation from Muslims in Egypt. Name another person on the globe that can do that.
Maybe a soccer player, but that's about it.
Maybe.
And
they would refer to them as a football player.
A footballer. That's correct. A footballer. Proper.
What are you talking about today?
Talking about football. We're going to talk about probably some more of that. We got some immigration stuff we're going to talk about. It's Hot Take Tuesday. We got our hot takes. Bell's got a smoking hot take today, which is really good.
Does he?
Yeah, it's going to be good. And we're going to talk about your sweet jacket because I didn't know what I thought today. Am I supposed to be dressed up?
Yep. It's jacket day. Did you hear what Mandis did?
There's a lot of things that Mandis did. Besides make us all sick?
He made us all sick, and he said he was going to lick the mic button, but he didn't. He said he licked something else, and he wouldn't tell me what it was. So
God, that's why he's in the morning.
That's why. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.